like care about the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, the vast majority of America, including my dad, cares about Super Bowl. And every single year, it gets worse and worse and worse. Because everyone likes the Super Bowl because of the halftime show, right? Where they're supposed to be a cool concert, cool effects. This is the one time where people actually enjoy watching ads. Because the ads are supposed to be like super like high quality and funny. It is a cultural force. Now, I know a lot of people don't like sports ball. And I will have to defend the Super Bowl before we actually get into criticizing it. Football in particular is a huge part of American culture. It's a sport that we actually created ourselves. It is American sport through and through. And it is good entertainment. We like watching, anime and playing video games. The older generations like watching sports. And it's a very basic bitch tribalism too. Because despite how, we're not supposed to be racist and sexist and everything else like that, people are tribalistic by default. So by picking a team, it's a good way for people to connect and have fun. Right, before the internet, Super Bowl parties were great ways to hang out with your friends and co-workers if you had that good of a relationship with them. Go to somebody's house, you actually see people IRL, drink, have good food. It's a huge cultural event. Now, unfortunately, as the years have gone by, that's dropped and nobody really does that stuff anymore. But having IRL parties and events for friends and families is essential for people to survive. Being atomized online is not healthy. Depression in general is a huge issue with modern society. When people are atomized, when people don't have real IRL friends, when people don't actually talk to their friends and family, that makes people very isolated and extremely depressed. Even I personally don't like watching sports and find it boring. I can recognize that it is the entertainment of the older generation, and it actually is pretty important and essential to having a community. So seeing it being degraded and thrown out the window, turned into fucking Enwa ball, and a massive amount of DEI, and the amount of propaganda that goes into it, because it is such a big cultural force, is actually quite sad. And I do want to change it. I don't want to throw it out the window. I want to revert it back to what it was originally supposed to be. Have the Super Bowl parties, have, I guess, the funny ads, have a good halftime show of actual good musicians that actually represent what Americans are. Why is it all this N-walk fucking crap once again? Like, it's actually quite depressing and frustrating to see such a massive piece of American culture just be thrown into the gutter like this. Now, I would say, don't watch the Super Bowl nowadays, obviously, but just because the Super Bowl is absolute dog shit nowadays doesn't mean I don't want it to be better and what it's supposed to be. Giving it up to them is not the solution. We need to take it back. Anything that's been completely taken over by DEI and globalism needs to be taken back by some cultural dominance, not just giving it up to the hordes of browns. Like this account on Twitter says, Green Day shits on Ice Agent, Black National Anthem, halftime show in Spanish, so not playing the book away soon. This is important to keep in mind. The whole point is to completely eradicate white people. When we're already about 6 to 7% of the world's population, we are the true minority and the ones that actually built civilization. And yet the mainstream media, main entertainment for regular normies, will keep on pushing this fucking slop, anti-ICE sentiment, raising the blacks, even though Black Lives Matter is basically dead at this point. We'll wait until the next election year. They always raise their heads every election year. Trying to hold this whole Spanish thing, shove it down our throats as much as possible. It's not going to be easy to completely eradicate it. Seeing this god-awful, which I'm not going to play, by the way, because YouTube would fucking have my head if I did. But, I did actually watch the music video of him singing here. Literally all in Spanish. Every single person is brown. I saw, Asmongold made a tweet about how they're just trying to get into a different market because it's been oversaturated by, white Americans that already, watch Super Bowl. The thing is, and I'm going to disagree with this take, and maybe it's changed in, a day or two since I saw it, but I don't fucking care. I don't care about the market here. I care about the demographic replacement that's happening in real time, and this is being just propaganda, because that's exactly what it is. There's already white American. That's the actual market right there. If you have their halftime show in Spanish, then you're gonna be losing the majority market that you already have. They have their own fucking shit that they do, because once again, they're not actually Americans, right? The Asians don't care about the Super Bowl, because once again, they're not actually American. And even the blacks, only a certain number of them actually care about the Super Bowl too. If you make something for everyone, then it's for no one. Or in this case, If you make something to appeal to a whole new demographic, a new market, it's completely unrelated to the one that you already have established for literally decades now, then you're gonna basically remove your old market, and you're not gonna appeal to the people who would have been interested in by default. You're just gonna lose your old market, and you're not gonna be able to get the new market. Latins mostly watch soccer? Yeah. They have their own shit that they do. Never heard of this guy until the whole performance. His name is Bad Bunny. Horrible fucking song. You can listen to, like, Japanese music or, like, K-pop, and even though you can't understand the lyrics, you can be like, you know, hey, this is catchy. You can kind of bop your head to the song or something like that. You can't even deal with this. This is like basic bitch ghetto music, essentially, with how the beat works. And he's mumbling so much you can't understand him. And then the cherry on top is that he spends this whole part as a music video. I call it a music video because, this is not exactly a great performance to have for people who have spent thousands of dollars to be sitting in the stands. He has people holding, yeah, the American flag, but the person in front is having the Puerto Rican flag. And more people come out with the other flags here. And in the background, obviously, the whole sign says the only thing more powerful than hate is love. The whole entire messaging is that there's no actual real America. It's all these fucking foreigners here. And they're all brown, too. And there's not a single white person through the entirety of the performance, either. It's absolutely fucking disgusting what the messaging is. That there's no true America. Because Americans are white people of English and German descent. Now, since it's been 200 plus years now, we have become our own people with our own culture. Like I said, a Super Bowl is part of American culture. Like, we are all completely our own people. If Ukraine, independent for 60 years, are being oppressed by big baddie Russia, and they need their independence, then America, who's been around for 250 years, can be independent too. Fuck you. Would like to point out that everyone's American, but they also hate Americans and we're on stolen land. Everything about the propaganda and messaging is just to try to throw white people out. They hate white people with a burning fucking passion. Here's more images or more of the video. Once again, can't actually play the music because of, you know, YouTube would have my head. Just a bunch of fucking whores doing whore moves and a little bit of gay sex happening too. All dancing and just celebrating the N-ball ball. Not a single white person in sight. A bunch of browns. If you want to see gay sex, here's your gay sex. Literally takes a tire, wheels it up to the guy, and then they start grinding on each other. Like, I don't know if that was planned or not. I'm assuming it is because all this stuff is choreographed, you know, months in advance. I don't completely feel bad for the people who spent thousands of dollars to be in the stands for the Super Bowl. If you still watch the Super Bowl in the year of our Lord, 2026, you need God's assistance. Actually, I don't even know God can even help you at that point. This Annual Bowl has been going on for years now, since basically 2016. 2016 was a big, like, cultural snap that happened there. I think it's got worse and also in 2020 as well, with the whole, like, kneeling down for Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and everything like that. 3/4 of the players black now, too. But this was completely made. This whole scene with him was completely made for the internet. It's a music video with how it was recorded, because for the people in the stands who spent literally thousands upon thousands of dollars for these really expensive seats, because once again, the Super Bowl is one of the biggest cultural events that happen in America because it is American culture, right? This is an American sport made by white Americans. This is what they see. A POV, you're watching Bad Bunny's halftime performance from the stands. Like, they can't fucking see shit because of the bushes. Which are, by the way, real people. You can barely hear him in the stands, and the crowd is fucking silent. But they just don't fucking care. They just have these horrors dancing there for a little bit. People running off to the side because they're moving on from their positions. Like, it's a stage play. Except the stage play is supposed to be for the people in the stands who spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to see this performance. Because the Super Bowl halftime show is one of the biggest parts about the Super Bowl itself. And then you see the girls that are standing there for ages finally walking down, doing this. It's literally like behind the scenes of watching a play. Like, does this look entertaining to you? Because if I saw this, if I spent God knows how much money to watch this shit, I would be fucking pissed. These seats cost so much fucking money. And look, also, I want to point out too, obviously, you can't exactly see the faces of people, but even in the background, it's completely white. completely fucking white people. Even you can simply just tell it's full of white people. Not a single brown person in sight being in the stand. Just consuming the goy slop as they are being promoted for the replacement. It's white people that are the ones that are rich enough to be in the stands. It's white people funding the Super Bowl, taking apart this, because once again, it's white American culture. That's what the Super Bowl is. Meanwhile, they're giving this horrible performance by a Puerto Rican that hates America. They can't even see the performance in the first place. And he's got all those flags that, well, granted, I guess they can't really see because of the bushes, talking about how, you know, America's for everyone, and not actually for the white Americans that built America themselves. I mean, even the zooming out, once again, white people for as far as I can see. Granted, lots of boomers too, which is not that surprising. It pisses me off to no end. I don't even like the Super Bowl. But to say that it's just something that's so purely American would be utterly destroyed in the name of, well, the rest of the fucking world. I don't want to call them minorities. I don't want to call it diversity. There's nothing diverse about this. What the fuck is this scene right here? She's fucking pegging him. Oh, okay, now he's pegging her. Ugh. Like, this is absolute fucking degeneracy that's happening here. Fucking hell. Everyone's just gyrating on each other. Finally, people in the stands actually have a performance, and it's just a bunch of twerking and brown fucking shit. And it's only at this side of the stands, not these people. They still can't say anything. Everything about this is extremely expensive, and only white people can afford it because only white people are actual the net contributors to society. They're funding their own fucking replacement here. Samba TV reported a 39% drop in viewers between this year and last year's halftime show. Good. Supposedly, this Bad Bunny dude deleted all his content from his Instagram after the Super Bowl. Which would kind of make sense because so far I've been seeing nothing but negative reactions to it. I've been seeing positive left-wing reactions to it. The Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever. It makes no sense in the front of the greatness of America and doesn't represent our status as success, creativity, or excellence. Nobody understands a word this guy is singing. The dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the United States of America. It's actually a fair point, and all over the world, this show is just a slap in the face to our country, which is setting new standards and records every single day, including the best stock market and 401ks in history. There was nothing inspirational about this mess of a halftime show and watch. It will get great reviews from fake news media because they haven't got a clue of what's going on in the real world. And by the way, the NFL should immediately replace this ridiculous new kickoff rule, Make America Great Again, President Donald J. Trump. The orange man himself is not happy with it. So hey, it is still American culture. And having the president being like, yeah, this is the worst fucking halftime show ever, I highly doubt he's actually going to do anything. Maybe it'd be nice to get a little bit of pressure to the NFL to start changing their ways, but it probably won't happen. It is immobile after all. Since Jay-Z took over producing the Super Bowl halftime show in 2018, since then, white performers have been banned from the show. There hasn't been a single white headliner in Super Bowl in 7 years, with the lone exception of Eminem, who performed alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop, Kendrick Lamar, and other black artists. Rap in itself is just NWA coded. 7 years, not a single white performance. We got this Puerto Rican here and all the browns surrounding him and twerking fucking gross shit. We got Kendrick Lamar. This was last year, wasn't it? I remember this because he did the whole like USA thing. And once again, not a single white person. Just they're all fucking black. Rihanna? Once again, more blacks. And Beyonce. And more blacks. Not a single fucking white person in sight. It's all Jay-Z's fault? Well, I want to say it's Jay-Z's fault particularly. It's him and the NFL in general because it's all about DEI. It's all about intersectionality. It's all about pushing black excellence, Black Lives Matter, and crushing the white man completely. Taking what the white man has created, which is America and American culture, things like the Super Bowl, and propagandizing him to hate himself. As we can see, the scenes are still completely full and still completely full of white people. Even in 2026, after 7 years of in-your-face, we hate white people, we're going to replace you with more brown foreigners. They still go and pay the thousands upon thousands of dollars to be in the stands. I mean, I know a lot of it is just because of the sport itself. You're still promoting and still allowing this to happen. It's absolutely disgusting. Horrible fucking statistics for the demographics in America. Horrible statistics. Demographics for kids is terrible too. I believe in 2024, the statistics for white kids being registered in kindergarten was in like the 30s, like 33%, something like that. Don't completely quote me on that, but it was like roughly a third. It's not looking good. Actual white Americans that care about their country, we are a minority, not only just being the global population, but you and me, chat. People are waking up, people are being more pushed to it. It's all good signs of, pushing the change. So, we can't blackpill, we can't fucking give up on it. But just puts how dire the situation actually is. Little white pill, white people, the only demographic saw the birth rate increase last year is still sub replacement. So there's a slightly good sign there. And red states are having more kids than blue states in general. But it is a slow process. I only got a couple examples of the leftists because they're all roughly the same. Bad Bunny didn't ask for a seat at the table. He flipped it over and brought in a bigger one. A new America's emerging with a more expansive view of patriotism, love of country, and Americanness. It's coming. It's here, whether you like it or not. 400,000 views, 11k likes. Granted, sure, most of the comments are not very happy. They're loving this new narrative that they're pushing here. This is completely out of the blue. I've seen them talking about how obviously we took old Mexico and made some states out of them until now the new border of Mexico. And they're trying to push the narrative that the demographics of today show that they never actually left and it's always been Mexican. Right? And they're taking back old Mexico. They didn't fucking exist. They were still 95% white. And it's only been in the past few decades that they've risen so exponentially high, become Mexicans. And now they're trying to go with this whole narrative that they never left in the first place. Oh, fuck off out of here. But they're referring to this whole scene that I showed earlier with all the different fucking foreign flags. Once again, the American flag's in the back. The Puerto Rican flag is further up than the American flag. Now, it's because he's Puerto Rican, I know, but still. He's not actually American. Fucking Puerto Rican. And they're trying to go with this whole narrative that oh, we're all actually Americans now. Bad Bunny Super Bowl show reminded millions of viewers of something geography you never forgot. America's a continent. The United States is just one country in it. 2.6 million views and 85,000 likes. This is actually truly America. So therefore, everybody in Brazil and Argentina, Mexico, etc., can move to the United States because that's what America truly is. That's what Bad Bunny's representing there at the Super Bowl. United States of America. That's what they refer to when they say America, not this. For fuck's sakes, if we're going to get technical too. This is North America. This is Central America. This is South America. They're different. They only care about their narrative and their propaganda and pushing their messages. America's a continent. The United States is just one country in it. And therefore, Bad Bunny and every single brown that ever existed can flood our borders because that's what America truly is. That's the game that they're trying to play with this. When we think America, you think of the actual United States themselves. And you also think white Americans. Even though, demographically, we're not doing too well, even when you say American, people's minds still flashes a white person. A lot of the leftists online were basically going with this. Praising Bad Bunny. And it's just funny to note, even when talking about Puerto Rico, even Puerto Ricans don't consider themselves American. They made themselves a point to field a separate Olympic team that competes against American athletes with their own flag, their own people here. Puerto Rico's a territory of the United States, and unfortunately we give them way too much fucking money. But they consider themselves separate. They're not actually a state, and they're not actually part of America. They're just a territory. They're a military base for us. Oh, Rihanna's not a U.S. citizen. Shakira's not a U.S. citizen. Coldplay's not a U.S. citizen. The Who's not a U.S. citizen. All these other performers before are not U.S. citizens, but Bad Bunny is. A territory, not actually a fucking state, and there's a massive leech upon our economy. And they clearly fucking hate us. They will say whatever it takes to push their narrative and completely demoralize and get rid of Whitey. Keep in mind, half these people here, they're British. Coldplay, The Who, Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, and U2, they're all British. They're all actually specifically English. Part of the whole set for this, it's all based off being fucking brown. And there was some sort of shitty rundown Caribbean sport bar and grill here. And the sign says we accept EBT. And people are like, what the fuck? Why would you even add that to the set? But doesn't that make you look awful? Who's actually proud of being on EBT? I asked Grok out of curiosity how much the government sends to Puerto Rico, and then how much money Puerto Rico gives back. So the U.S. sends $28 billion on direct payments like benefits, Social Security, Medicaid, veterans payments, other individual transfers. $9.4 billion for programs in health, education, infrastructure, contracts. $919.8 million. Other financial assistance, $26.3 million. So we're talking, billions of dollars right there that's being sent to Puerto Rico. By major agency, Department of Health and Human Services, $13.87 billion, 36.1% of total, largely for Medicaid, cap funding Medicare and health programs. Other significant areas include disaster recovery, FEMA post-hurricane aid, with billions obligated since 2017 for infrastructure like the electric grid, education, Pell Grants, and infrastructure, EPA water funds, and Department of energy resilience, essentially. So we give billions of dollars to Puerto Rico. And guess how much Puerto Rico gives back? $5 billion annually in federal taxes. So meanwhile, we give them 25 to 35 billion annually. They are a massive net negative, a drain upon American society. I also looked up, too, how many of them are on food stamps and welfare programs because the whole EBT thing. And while they're not really on food stamps specifically, they're on NAP, which is the Nutrition Assistance Program. About 45% of the population, roughly. Medicaid, though, is about 50 to 60%, and then about 47% of households receiving some form of welfare. Puerto Rico takes about the highest month of welfare from us, with the next being New Mexico, which makes sense because New Mexico's a fucking shithole. So basically half the population's on some sort of welfare in Puerto Rico. ABT signing really is necessary because it's quite literally part of their culture. Just like how football is American culture, EBT is part of their culture since half the fucking population's on it. It's a huge strategic point in the Caribbean. It's just for Central and South America in general. I'm sure there was probably some ships and helicopters and men that came out of the Puerto Rican base when it came to kidnapping Maduro. It's important. And because of the strategic value that goes into the position of Puerto Rico, our US government is not actually going to get rid of it, no matter how much of a sink it is. They should just be less poor and brown. I fucking wish Puerto Ricans stay in Puerto Rico and try to make something out of that Hurricane Alley shithole. The whole Bad Bunny thing is not the only thing that happened in the Super Bowl, of course. There's a lot of things that happen because it is a Super Bowl, right? They have a bunch of, like, ads. They kicked off the Super Bowl, not with the actual national anthem, but with a black national anthem. Now, once again, like the Bad Bunny concert, I can't play it. They did a whole black national anthem because this is NWABL. Vast majority of players are black. They've been supporting Black Lives Matter every single year. They've been taking the knee, talking about George Floyd, and having a black national anthem where every single person is performing is black and also fat. As somebody who likes the Pokemon Slappa, not anymore granted, but still, it makes me very, very upsetty that Super Bowl ads cost 8 to 10 million for 60 seconds. Meanwhile, Pokemon Legends ZA cost 13 million. They put more effort into a Super Bowl ad for 60 seconds with Lady Gaga than they did for the actual big game release that they were hyping up for years now. And that's fucking piece of shit. Another Super Bowl ad is something for Redfin, which I don't know if I can show this either. YouTube is very, very touchy when it comes to things like this. Basically, white parents get divorced. Minorities move into a neighborhood where evil white man refuses to acknowledge them. Minorities save white family's dog and clean up evil white man's property after a storm. You got the fucking resting bitch-faced Latina cunt here. I like how they're being chased by in-laws in this case. I'm assuming it's their friends saying goodbye, but I still find it funny they're being chased by in-laws. Story is this white girl and this Latina girl are moving, right? But only in the white girl where the parents actually get divorced here. Moms and dads. They move into, like, the same neighborhood. The white girl is nervous and waving, and she gets ignored, funnily enough. The dog doesn't like the brown, which is pretty base. But the brown still has the rushing bitch face. Like, does she look approachable at all? The white girl is trying to have friends, okay? And she's smiling. I'm sorry the dog doesn't like the brown girl, but she look like she's happy? But no, she's the evil one, because her dog doesn't like the brownoid. And then the dad of the brownoid tries to be friendly with the boomer white man with the stereotypical fucking hick, right? American flag, old truck, hat, flannel, overweight, you know, even though boomers are actually pretty left-leaning, gets it completely ignored by it. Oh, he's such an asshole. The dog escapes. They're trying to find the said dog. Eventually the girl finds dog. She's super happy. And she hugs the white girl. She's got this, like, forced smile going there, like, So the whole entire time she's being a bitch. Even though the white girl's the bad one in this situation because she's got the mean dog. And then the brownoid dad comes over and helps with the tree that's on the old man's lawn here. And the old man just has to, like, fuck, have to accept it. And they go into the whole, like, he's a neighbor like you. And it's a bunch of mixed race people once again. Well, now they're friends. Now they're friends. Isn't it so wholesome?